if everything we had wasn't because of who we truly are anyway, then are we really losing it if we become ourselves? Mentally, a lot of us don't truly know who we are, and that's why we rush to keep taking on these new titles, hoping that it will fulfill us and give us a deeper sense of purpose. Why healing can come across so scary to a lot of people. And we think that change is hard, but it's really because we've built an identity around the roles that we've played our entire lives. And a lot of these roles obviously kept us safe. Everybody's in that perfect little box, everything's clearer and under control. The reality is, it can be very confusing, especially when it's a box that you don't really feel comfortable being in. And eventually, you notice that it's keeping you small, and it causes a lot of friction. So the fear of healing is not only about the pain. I mean, yeah, it's kind of painful, and once in a while we feel like we might be losing the plot, but it's about losing who we think we are. Because when the mask starts falling off, or when we start shifting perspectives so we see things in a different way, what's going to happen? Right? We feel like everything's going to crumble around us. And there's this panic of, but what if I lose everything? This whole identity crisis, or searching for the true self, for me comes from the sole fact that I have a European father and an Asian mother. And I was born and raised for a huge part of my childhood in a country that nobody grew up in. I was the first. So I'm the first mixed child of my family, and I'm the first to be born and raised in a completely different country. My sister was born in one of my parents' hometowns, and I went to school with people of a completely different nationality. I was like literally the only white girl. I'm like literally the only mix. And there was that, and then obviously home wasn't the most stable in my eyes. All these new emotions and issues, so to speak, being the first one in my family to also have to deal with this. Or maybe my parents felt it growing up, but they never were able to communicate it with me in a healthy way. I don't know. But it really starts making a child wonder, who am I supposed to be? The thing I got phenomenal at is adapting. And so maybe that's where a lot of our roles begin with, not as choices, but as a means of survival. So if we keep this role just because we created it from a place of survival, then at what point are we truly living? So the thing with healing is that it really asks you, is this really me? Or is that what I was taught or had to learn to be in order to be loved or find my place? And now, remember that a lot of the skills that we adopt in order to survive can actually have a lot of positive in our current life. Every skill or character flaw, so to speak, they all have a time and a place. Nothing is all bad and nothing is all good. It really depends on the context. Back to my point. The truth is, a lot of times the roles that we believe to be us, that we've been playing all along, was simply imprinted onto us. Sometimes healing, we think we're just going to lose ourselves, or we're going to lose this and we're going to lose that. But in reality, it's finally understanding which parts of you were never really you. Meeting yourself in real time and allowing the parts that had to hide to explore, and allowing the parts that were just performance to just go backstage for a little bit. So nobody ever really taught me how to hold every part of myself. And that's probably just what healing is about, finding this balance between who you want to become and also allowing the lessons that made you who you are to help create a new path. And so a lot of times people think, oh my God, I'm lost. Oh my God. Maybe none of us are lost. We're just so busy playing a character because of this armor that was put on us that probably wasn't even in a color that we liked. If you're in a in-between place, and or maybe you're worried about losing your identity, or maybe you feel like you are losing your identity, then I invite you to pause and ask if perhaps you might be actually allowing space to finally meet yourself. I'm super curious, so please let me know in the comments if you've ever felt this way. And I would like to remind all of us that we are not alone, and we are all free to unlearn roles or continue the roles that we've been playing. If that's comfortable and healing has no interest to you, then that's completely okay too. There's no need to feel like you have to heal. So I hope all this made sense, and I hope you enjoyed.